Okay, we have started recording. The broadcast is on. We already have a few attendees.
Wait,
We're joining. Ross, Rafael, hi. We'll wait a few more minutes until everyone is joining, and then we can start the presentation. Hi, Rafael. Hi. Yes, you can ask any questions in the chat menu. Yeah, feel free to ask anything you want. Already half of the registrants are in the call. A few more minutes and we can start. Right, so I think we can start the webinar. Thank you everyone who joined today's webinar regarding our OCRE project, voucher project. With me, I have Gary James, who is from the Giants team, and also Vanya Nikova, who is head of the sales marketing team in CloudSigma. I'm one of the account managers in the company. And we will introduce you today with the project, its idea, the vouchers, how you can activate them, use them. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. And yeah, if we need anything else, feel free to ping us there. I hope all of us are audible and you can hear us. So Gary, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Thank you, Vanya. Okay, thank you people for attending. It's good to see a good number of you. So I thought I'd just give you a quick a bit of background on Géant if you've not heard of us before. We are the pan-European data network for the research and education community. Our principal aim or object is to connect national research and education networks across Europe, and we're sort of now going worldwide, so we're going across to America, down to Africa, and across the other way into sort of Asia. This is to enable collaboration in projects ranging from biological science, earth observation, the arts and culture. So basically each country will have its network, and we then sort out the connectivity between them so that sort of there are no barriers to research across Europe and now really the world. So we are currently leading on setting up the OCRE framework agreement for internet as a structure and platform as a service, which will come into place at the end of the year. We've already established that a market exists through our current IES framework contract, which has turned over 25 million euros since 2017. The OCRE framework will enable universities and research establishments to buy commercial cloud services from reliable suppliers who have committed to beneficial prices and terms and conditions for 4 years until December 2024. The framework is currently out to tender, closes at the end of this month, and we then have a lengthy evaluation process and hope to have frameworks in place towards the end of the year. So this particular project has been backed by the European Union, who have made 10 million euros available to encourage early adoption of the OCRE framework. And they decided to make some of this money available early to get the ball rolling and enable researchers to get into the cloud and gain some experience in what the cloud can bring to your projects. So we as Géant conducted a mini competition under our current framework, and CloudSigma emerged as the winning bidder. It's taken slightly longer than anticipated to get vouchers out to researchers through our partner organizations, which are OCRE, the European Open Science Cloud, Marie Curie Alumni Association, and Eurodoc. So hopefully you're associated with one of those to have got your vouchers. If you haven't got a voucher but you've tuned in because you're interested, I think if you're not a link to any of those organizations, possibly an email to myself, gary.james@geant, GEANT.org, and we'll have a look at the email and see what we can do for you. Basically, a few issues about the vouchers. CloudSigma very pleasantly have made the vouchers valid until the 30th of June 2021, so that should give you plenty of time to use up the voucher. If you come to the end of your voucher early but you wish to stay in the cloud, then I'm sure Victor would be quite happy to talk to you about extending your stay with CloudSigma.
Always there.
I'd also like to point out that as part of the procurement process, CloudSigma offered us a very healthy discount, which has been passed on to each individual voucher. So therefore, those of you with a 500 euro voucher will in fact receive 675 euros worth of cloud. And those with a 2,000 voucher will in fact receive 2,700. So that's quite a nice bonus for you. Finally, we all know that there is no such thing as a free lunch. I'm not sure that's just an English saying or whether it is pan-European. And we will be expecting something in return from you for the voucher. At some point, you'll be asked to give us some feedback on your time in the cloud and how it has helped your projects, studies, etc., which we will then probably have to share with the EU. I think it shouldn't be a lengthy process, and it should be quite easy to do via some form of automated survey. So once again, thank you for participating in our project, and I hope you enjoy finding out about the cloud with my colleagues from CloudSigma. I think Vanya is now going to take you or introduce you to CloudSigma.
Yeah, correct.
And then Victor will tell you more about their platform. So over to you, Vanya. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary, for this wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone from the participants. My name is Vanya. I'm head of sales at CloudSigma. And today I'm really happy to tell a little bit about our company. It is not going to take long because we also want you to have the opportunity to raise more questions. So let's just get started. Victor, Gary, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So
yep.
I'll quickly run you through our platform capabilities. First of all, who are we? We are definitely not such a known name like Amazon or Microsoft, but you will be surprised how many benefits we can bring you as a cloud provider. We are a Swiss company. We were founded 11 years ago. 1st of June, we celebrated our 11th birthday. And in Europe, we are recognized as a leading infrastructure as a service provider with focus on flexibility and performance. This was possible because we have built our own cloud stack, and this allows us to have unique and very flexible service offering. I'll talk about that in a minute, a little bit more. We offer 100% local infrastructure solution out of our global network of location. You can see at the moment we have 4 locations in Europe, 2 in Switzerland, 1 in Germany, and 1 in Ireland, with 1 in Sweden coming up in 2 months. And we also have direct connectivity to Gent, obviously, and to D6. This is CloudSigma at a glance. We offer 100% SLA. This is very important, especially if you're looking at a small cloud provider. You definitely have to check what's the SLA because not everyone is as strict as we are on that part. We have 13 locations worldwide, and we are expanding every year with 2-3 more. It takes only 26 seconds to create a new server at CloudSigma. This is a remarkable speed of our platform. And it gets about half a minute to get a response from our friendly customer support. I encourage you to test that because it's not just what I'm saying, it's the truth. At the moment, we have more than 2,500 active clients, and they are operating on more than 5,000 active servers. This is a snapshot of our certificates and compliances. We are ISO 27001 certified for information security, which we expanded last year to include the cloud security and privacy protection certificates. We are also GDPR compliant, which I believe is quite important for all of you. We are a member of the Trusted Cloud. This is German area brand of trust in the cloud market. And we are also a PCI DSS compliant cloud provider. So very quickly, I'm going to tell you why CloudSigma is a good option for you. We have 24/7 free technical support. The guys in the support team and girls are really very friendly, and you will get a very, very quick response from them, either via the chat or our ticketing system, and they ensure a very quick resolution of all your issues. High security, I already covered this with the previous slide. We deliver a very high degree of security with regards to various aspects of computing in the cloud. As I mentioned, we have various deployment options in Europe and outside of Europe. Apart from public cloud, we also offer virtual private and hybrid cloud options, which may be interesting for some of you out there. So yeah, if you're interested, we can discuss later the details. We offer a couple of national legal frameworks under which to work with. Very important is actually the aspect of flexibility and compatibility. Any operating system or application can run in our cloud unmodified. We don't bundle resources, which means that you don't have predefined server sizes in our cloud. You go there and you just define the server the way you want it. And this is something you're not going to get in any other cloud provider in Europe. I mentioned about the SLAs. This is very important, especially if you compare with other smaller providers. We are very strict about our SLAs and also very generous. Our billing is very transparent and predictable. We have long-term subscriptions options, and we also have on-demand options. And this is all very flexible, allowing you to achieve highest price performance ratio. And last but not least, we have a couple of value-added services like disaster recovery, DDoS mitigation, and further security features just to help you solve a number of different infrastructure problems that you have. This is a snapshot of some of our known customers in Europe. I'm sure you will recognize a name or two on that slide. And this is a snapshot of some of our academic partners. By the way, almost since the very beginning, CloudSigma has been working on various, back then it was FP6, FP7, today's Horizon 2020 projects together with a lot of different academic partners. So we do have a lot of experience working with universities and institutes. So yeah, actually Jean is providing this opportunity to expand our relationship with a number of public organizations. At the end, I would like to mention some success stories we have with a few of our customers and why they actually chose CloudSigma to be their cloud provider. This is a client of ours from Switzerland. They are a leading digital asset management company. They're not a big company, but their infrastructure is actually very big. So in terms of infrastructure size, they are among our top 10 clients at the moment. And here you can see what are the reasons why they chose CloudSigma: high price performance ratio, migration of large volumes. Yes, this is something that is like a barrier for many companies and also universities. How are we going to migrate our stuff to the cloud? CloudSigma offers a free migration tool with which you can migrate all of your servers without modification to the cloud. This tool is hypervisor neutral and application independent. And since you can run any application or operating system in CloudSigma, so far we haven't seen any issue with someone that migrated over to CloudSigma. On-demand scalability, this is what the cloud is for. So these guys actually switched off from on-prem infrastructure to the cloud, and of course they enjoyed the on-demand scalability we have. And excellent customer service is, last but not least, an important criteria. This is another interesting success story of the healthcare branch of the Swiss Post. Actually, this is a research institute that is today part of Swiss Post Healthcare Solutions, but we started working with them before they were acquired by the Swiss Post. So they have this, I put this on the presentation because this might be a typical use case for some users because they have a combination between base load and a lot of peaks when they do analytics of their medical surveys. So the combination of subscriptions and on-demand resources was the main reason why they actually chose CloudSigma, because they could optimize their price performance. Like they could use subscriptions for all the base load, the standard things, workloads that run in the cloud. At the same time, they knew that they can always rely on flexible, scalable capacity anytime they have a new medical survey coming. And of course, yeah, one thing which is very important, since it's about medical data, the cloud had to be very secure because of data security and privacy regulations that they had internally and also with their clients. So this is very important. Yeah, I'm sure everybody knows the European Space Agency. They are a client and a partner of ours for many, many years. And actually this is projects they have in our cloud. This is the research and support service platform, which is deployed on top of our cloud. This is for analyzing satellite data from volcano and earthquake super sites. And for them, it is also very important that you can size the servers the way you want it, because for their workloads, they use much more RAM than CPU, and they can actually define by the gigabyte and gigahertz how much RAM and CPU they are going to have per server. Also because it's an online platform, performance and availability was something which is very important, and the low latency, because actually this platform should be accessed from all over the world. This is another example of a client of ours that is actually working a lot with institutions. This is an Austrian client. And they're also very active working with various universities in Vienna. They're actually a manufacturer of software tools, and they used to have on-prem software, which once they actually switched to the cloud and became software as a service, they were able to expand exponentially and to also enjoy global operations, which was not really possible before that. One important thing that they mentioned about CloudSigma when we discussed is the fact that we offer the so-called no vendor lock-in. So when choosing a cloud provider, one should know that many providers, when you start using something, you don't get just servers and storage, but also a lot of different tools, which then makes it very hard for you to migrate off this particular cloud. This is something that doesn't happen at CloudSigma. We offer tools for some things, but the users are not obliged to use these tools. They can bring in their own tools or just use any third-party tool that they are used to work with. And this no vendor lock-in approach is very valued by IT departments of institutions and companies because they're used to using some tools, and they prefer continuing doing so because then they avoid being locked on a particular platform. And this is the end of my presentation. You know how to get your evaluation account via the voucher system. So now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Victor to tell you a little bit more about the organizational framework.
Thank you, Vanya. Thank you, Gary, for the nice information and the description of CloudSigma. Yes, I'm going to introduce to all the participants in this call as soon as you get the voucher, what is next. But firstly, as in the beginning I mentioned, but several people joined afterwards, I'm the account manager and project coordinator of the OCRE vouchers in CloudSigma. This is why I'm the person and your right hand in the cloud in case you need anything connected to the voucher. I'm currently sharing my screen just to show you something like a workflow of how is the process of the activation. Is my screen visible?
Yep.
Thank you. So as soon as you get your vouchers, one should go to our landing page. There you can see a brief information about CloudSigma, our main features and capabilities, which Vanya also mentioned, which are flexibility, complete freedom, and 24/7 technical support, always next to you. Something that I want to stress really is that no matter if you are a tech savvy or someone who is facing the cloud platforms and functionalities for the first time, it doesn't matter. I'm your account manager. I will onboard you. I will prepare a customized demo presentation for you so that you can be fully prepared to answer any questions or face any issues within your organization or your projects. So as I mentioned, as soon as you get your voucher code, you will be instructed to visit this page of CloudSigma landing page, where you simply have to type your researcher's name, email address for contact, organization, the voucher code, and select one of the 3 European vocations that we offered for the OCRE voucher system. Of course, you should also check these 2 boxes as you are compliant with the terms and services of Untitled CloudSigma. As soon as you finish and submit successfully this form, then on my end, I receive a notification with your details. And from my end, I'm starting the activation of your voucher. Once ready, I am personally contacting you via email to welcome you, to update you that it is successful and that the funds, no matter if it is 500 or 2000 voucher, the funds are already in your account and you're ready to start computing. A few good things about the start of yours is that CloudSigma is thinking about you, and in order to help you, we have a very rich library of tutorials in our YouTube page. Secondly, as I first mentioned, you have the account manager in my face, who is always next to you to help you with any questions that you have during the first steps in the cloud, no matter if you are a beginner or very into the cloud department. Last but not least, we have also prepared this quick guide showing you how to activate OCRE voucher, some information, of course, about CloudSigma, the features, which Vanya already mentioned. This is probably will be useful for people from your company organizations who are not part of the webinar, although we will send you the webinar itself as well. But this is basically the whole procedure. As soon as you get the voucher, you submit this landing page, all the fields. As soon as it is ready, I will update you, invite you for a demo call to show you the functionalities and the user interface. and then you will be able to start. As Gary also mentioned, every voucher is valid until the end of June next year. So we are left less than 12 months. So of course, the situation right now is not an easy one, but the sooner you start using the vouchers, the better. As much as I know, GIANT and OCRE framework are happy to stimulate researchers who want to expand and use a second or third voucher. So it doesn't matter if you finish the voucher or not, there will be even more help for you. And yes, to summarize, you have demo presentation from me. You will have the account established by me. I will provide you and supply you with any tutorials that we have for the cloud usage and everything. But as Vanya mentioned, it is very user-friendly. You have the whole freedom there, and everything is explained carefully in order to work well. Last but not least, she mentioned also the 24/7 support. So in case you have any kind of technical questions, they are always next to you. With this, my part of how the onboarding is happening in the cloud is finalized. So we are exactly on time to receive any questions that you have. You can either type them in the chat menu, or you can also raise a hand and we can unmute you to ask your questions. Also, Vanya and Gary, if you want to add anything that you forgot or I forgot, feel free to do so.
Thanks, Victor. I think you've covered everything that I had.
Okay. I see Rafael is raising a hand. So Rafael, I'm going to unmute you. Petra is also raising a hand. But firstly is Rafael. Rafael, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Oh, I can see you. So as I mentioned, I'm with Philharmonie Luxembourg, a cultural institution. And I am presently looking around for a cloud solution for digital assets. And this is why I'm here. I've been asked by Vestina in Luxembourg to join this meeting to find out about the OCRE vouchers. And I'm wondering if I'm in the right place. We have like about 5 terabytes of well, digital assets that we need to store somewhere that should be easily accessible to outside collaborators. And yeah, I'm just having questions like what are the previews available on Sigma Cloud of all different kinds of files. Like we have the greatest variety of files that we're using in our publications. And I always find that, like Vanya mentioned before, that you always need to use some tool to be able to show some files, to work on some file, to whatever. And I was wondering how it is with Sigma.
Actually, as you saw, one of the examples that I provided was exactly of a digital asset company.
Okay, the
so
picture park.
Yes, exactly.
Right. I went straight to their website.
Yes. So they have much more than 5 terabytes, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And they have just installed, they're working with Microsoft database, which they have installed
Mm-hmm.
on our cloud. And then with it, they can do whatever previews is available there. So
Mm-hmm.
you are free to actually use whatever tools you want in your server. You can install either a Windows operating system or a Linux distribution, and then install whatever tools you want on top of that. We give you full freedom for that.
Yeah, Like what we use mainly is Microsoft products and the
Yeah,
whole
that's fine.
Adobe Edition, Creative Suite. So which offers, yeah, with certain plugins you can access all kinds of cloud systems. But I have not found anything really that would put everything in one place, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So is it possible, for example, to, let's say from a Word program to access the cloud directly without needing to download something?
From a Word program.
For example, from Word or Illustrator or whatever, to just open a file straight on the cloud?
Probably, but this is not the level we provide services to. So it's
Okay.
probably possible, but someone needs to do the programming way for you.
Okay. So we would need some extra, well, plugins or whatever
Exactly.
to be able to do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, that answers my question for the moment. So I give
Okay,
the
if
word
you
to
want,
the
you can
next
just
person.
have a test and see how it works, so that you
I,
get an idea.
I would like that. I would like that, but I see somebody else is
Yeah,
waiting
we are
behind me.
going to answer
Yes,
the question.
Rafael, we have a lot of questions. I will follow up with you personally after the webinar, so no
That's
worries.
very
If you
Yeah.
have any
Thank you.
questions, I will be personally dedicated to answer all of them with you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Victor.
Can I just add, Raphael, that if you're not allied to any of our partners who are currently distributing vouchers, if you could let me know. I think I've just sent. I put my email address in the chat.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, if you send me an email, I can
Mhm.
talk to the distributing group and see whether we can fit you in and whisk you over a €500 voucher. I mean, it may be dependent if you go onto the evaluation and find
Mhm.
that CloudSigma does meet your needs, then we can
Mhm.
certainly look at whether we can try and get you a voucher so that you get an extended stay.
All right, I'll give you the contact in by mail then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Rafael, for the question. I will now mute you and answer the other questions that we had in the chat. The first one was from Julia. Yep. So what happens to the data stored when the vouchers are not renewed? This was part of the tender documents that we had to be fully compatible with when we were applying for. So whatever happens with your voucher, if no matter if it is renewed again or not, your data is kept for a few more weeks until the account is closed. Actually, it is still a full regular account. Then after 30 days, it gets to an inactive. So your data is still there, but the sooner we know what we should do, actually what you should do with data, the better. But nothing will be lost or anything will be harmed. So you can be fully safe about your data, Julia.
Actually, the deferred deletion period we have is 30 days. So
Exactly.
within these 30 days, we need to know what you want to do with the data extracted or whatever. Even if you have lost access to, even if you don't have funds in your cloud account, you still have access to the account to download the data.
Yep. Next question is from Petrofic. Let me ask the question here. What happens with the data after the voucher reaches 0? This is almost the same, but yes, it is kept. Nothing is lost. We can migrate it. You can convert your account to a paid regular account, or you can speak with the distributors if you can receive another voucher for another period and so on. So in any case, nothing will be lost from your data and the work there. Next question is from Judith Mauner. Is it possible to launch my own research website? Vanya, do you want to answer this one or I should go further?
Yes, it is possible to run a web application on the cloud, definitely.
Yes, you can do so. And if you wonder about any unclear technical questions, you can also ask our support team for help. We also have several tutorials and guides regarding such initiatives in our blog section on the website. So you can also ask me to search and help you with this. Sasa Kukovic is asking what is happening after the expiring period. This is already mentioned. Nothing is lost. You can either proceed as a regular account of CloudSigma, or you can retrieve another voucher from Giant and the OCRE framework.
Sarah, if this does not answer your question, please write a more specific question. Thanks.
Okay, next one is from David Parastidis. For someone who has some previous experience in cloud infrastructure, where would you recommend us to start? Is it a comprehensive talk, summary for available functions, what programming language? Yes, I can. The easiest way will be for me to prepare a demo presentation for you. Afterwards, you will clear some of your questions. And then based on your feedback and exactly your goals, as soon as I understand them, David, then I can send you a few tutorials that can help you exactly in the programming language and everything. We have also our API docs available for everyone, so you can also help gain information from there. So yes, after today's webinar, we can schedule a demo presentation only with you, and then I can answer further anything unclear from your side.
Just to mention, David, our cloud is based on KVM hypervisor. It's written in Python, if that makes any sense. As Victor mentioned, we have a RESTful API, and you can actually find some useful codes on GitHub. You can find our profile there, or later on, Victor can send you the link to it.
I'm sorry for sending again Gary's email, but he sent it privately, not to everyone. This is why I pasted it again, as well as Vanya.
I actually pasted all of our emails.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I will follow up with everyone from the participants after the webinar with the video of the whole event, and also with the contact details of me and Gary, and of some of the researchers from whom you can also retrieve vouchers if you haven't already. But as you see in the attendees list, I see very familiar faces and names. So yeah, both ways work. I think
Q&A, we have one question which was unanswered so far from Emanuele Storti. I'd like to ask you to clarify what will happen to uploaded data when the voucher credit is finished. We explained about the data, but there is another question. Will a notification be sent in advance to inform the user that the deadline is approaching? So either before the deadline, June next year, or when you reach 10%, 90% of your voucher spent, actually in both cases, you will receive a notification from our site.
yes.
I hope that answers the question. There is now another question for containers from Martin Zudmans, not sure. What is the support for container-based application? So we are at the moment integrating platform as a service on top of our infrastructure. This is not available right now. It will be available probably within 3 months, but other than that, you are free to set it up on your own. Yes, you can definitely do that. We've tried it and it works.
Any other questions, either in the Q&A or in the chat? Or if you want, you can raise your hand and speak to us again. We have a few more minutes, like 5, 6, to answer any other questions regarding the onboarding or CloudSigma itself. we have a new in the Q&A. I'm not sure how to access my code. Is it possible that I received it, but after the pandemic, I simply can't remember what happened to it. What can I do? If you can send me your email via which you applied for the voucher, I can either forward it to our distributors or check it myself if it is already activated and let you know. So if you reply back to my email, great. Yes. So if you have any questions regarding this, just email me and I will answer you back. Any other questions that you might have? Yes, thank you, Beata, for the email. I will follow up with you after the webinar today. You're welcome. Rafael has no questions. Well, okay, guys, I think that it was a successful webinar, and I hope that me, Vanya, and Gary could introduce you fully to what our collaboration with Giant for the OCRE project is and how well it so far works. Many vouchers were activated already. I'm in touch with many new researchers. So feel free to start your voucher as soon as you can. As I told you, the expiry date is next June, so we're left then less than a year. And no matter your skills about the cloud and so on and your knowledge, our team is here to help you and guide you and onboard you smoothly. So yes, feel free to email us. I will follow up with everyone from this webinar. So thank you, Rob, for the nice words. So I wish everyone a good, productive day, and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you, Gary and Vanya.
Thank you also from my side for all of you that participated. Have a nice afternoon.
Yep, from me, so thank you for participating. You've got our contact details, and well, we'd love to hear from you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.